Now, we celebrate the holidays of many religions. A couple of weeks ago, we observed the Christian holiday of Easter, and next week we will be holding a Seder to celebrate the Jewish holiday of Passover. And see, now often Easter and Passover are at the same time, but this year they're a month apart, and that's because Easter is on the first Sunday after the first full moon of spring, and Passover is figured by a lunar calendar in the Jewish tradition. And so it takes a serious mathematician to figure out when these holidays will occur. But at least Judaism and Christianity have a system. The date of flower communion in the Unitarian Universalist tradition is determined by the whim of every congregation. The closest our tradition has come to fixing a date is have it occur sometime in the spring. Christianity and Judaism are organized religion. We have a ways to go. The holiday is just a little over 80 years old and is celebrated by most of our congregations. And it's a growing holiday, which is appropriate because it's a holiday about growing. We are a young religion, and our history is still unfolding. We are the hybrid fruit that grew from the tree of Christianity. We have fallen from that tree, but still retain many of its characteristics. And we have grown slowly over the past century. Perhaps we are in the springtime of our religion. We are budding and about to bloom. We have been small and self-contained, but perhaps now is the time that we should unfold. Why now? Well, a flower doesn't bloom until the conditions are right. The world needs to turn towards the warmth of the sun, and our world is changing. It was once possible to grow up in a religion and never meet somebody of another religion. Everybody thought that the truth that they had been taught was the only truth. That belief is harder to hold in this world where cultures constantly bump up against one another. Children all over the world are exploring the internet, and they see things that their parents never saw. When Unitarianism and Universalism was formed, only a few people dared to look beyond their own tradition. And few did it in a spirit of kindness. If they did look beyond their tradition, it was to destroy rather than to understand. The world is beginning to weary of religions trying to destroy each other. The Unitarian Universalist practice of learning from all religions and philosophies provides hope for the future. How can we, a small budding religion, provide hope? We must release our potential and put ourselves on display. This is what flowers do. They give the world hope by sharing their beauty. This congregation is like the entire UU movement. We are a bud that is about to burst open if we let ourselves. There are reasons that we might choose to stay a budding religion. Because a bud is protected from the elements, it's safe from outside influences. But if it doesn't bloom, it dies. A flower takes risks. It opens itself up for the wide world to see. It invites the honeybee. It's willing to be cross-pollinated. It opens itself up for change. Are we willing to unfold ourselves and risk growing? I hope so. In order to help us this morning, I placed in your order of service a UU flower bud. On one side it says, I am UU. And on the other side it says, are you UU? I want you to try to unfold it a little bit and stick your fingers in it. And if you are anything like me, it might be a little tricky. I haven't done this in 35 years. When we were children, we used to call these cootie catchers. But I'm not interested in catching cooties. I'm interested in catching Unitarian Universalists. And so have your little flower. And hold it up. And let's just say the words that are on the outside, opening and closing. I am you. Are you? I am you. Are you? Now, I know some of you adults think this is very silly. It takes you out of your comfort zone. But being friendly and open about our religion takes us out of our comfort zone. We sometimes prefer to shrink back and say, oh, we're so intellectual that most people wouldn't understand us. And so we never say, I am you. Are you? So what do we do? What is you? What do we do? If you look on the inside of your flower, those are the questions. What is you? What do we do? So I'm going to go one more time, and you probably won't be in sync with me, but Unitarian Universalists. Well, I ended up where I wanted to, into this part of what is you. And so I'm going to unfold the little part that says what is. And it says, Unitarian means holy oneness. Now, the word Unitarian means God is one. People started to realize that there were lots of ideas about what God is. Some people think Jesus was God. Some people think that Buddha is God. God is called by a lot of names around the world. And sometimes they fight over what to call God. Unitarians think that people can learn from each other about God instead of fighting. Maybe there is just one God called by many names. There is a unity and oneness to God. All over the world, people seek something larger than themselves. Some people call this oneness God, and some do not. Unitarians welcome people whether they can name the holy or not. We look for the oneness behind every belief. If people are peaceful, then they are seeking oneness. If people share, then they are seeking oneness. If people are kind, then they are seeking oneness. Whatever brings people together is oneness. Flower communion is all about bringing our different flowers and putting them in one display. The flower-covered altar is the display of oneness. No matter what type of flower you are welcome here. So let's fold this back up and try it again. What is you? Oops, I landed. So unfold the part that says you ? And there's a thing that says Universalist means all are saved. Now, some religions preach hell, that there is a place where people are punished forever if they make mistakes in their lives. They say, if you do not believe in my religion, you will be punished. They try to scare people into being good. Universalists think there is a better way. We think that people can learn to be better. Punishment is seldom necessary. It's not the most effective way to scare people into being good. Now, occasionally, some of you children may remember, or it's probably happened before you even could remember, when you were able to walk, but maybe not able to talk. You reached for the stove, and your parents might have slapped your hand and said, "No!" And it hurt, and it felt like a punishment. But it was really punishment in the service of learning. And then maybe a couple of years later, if you still hadn't learned, sometimes it takes a while to learn, but you knew your words. Your parents, instead of hitting you, would say, "Stop! That's hot!" Because I think kids learn first word, mama or papa, and then second word, mama or papa, and the third word is hot, because that's what their parents say second most. Hot! And slowly, the children learn to think for themselves. They know that the stove is dangerous. And then, as the children get closer to adulthood, they learn how to use the stove as a tool. Well, Universalists think that learning is better than fear. Occasionally you might have some fears because there are some real things that can hurt you in this world. But if you learn, you can overcome them so much better than by fear. We do not believe that only good people deserve rewards. That is why in flower communion, everybody gets a flower. And we bring extras in case that you forgot to bring flowers today, or if, like you, I wasn't going to go in tugging at some wet bushes to bring a flower on this cold and rainy day. Universalists believe it's better to invite people in than to shut them out. It is better to make the world safe for everyone than to save only a chosen few. So I'm going back to my little budded flower. What is you? What do we do? Well, I'm going to start with the what do we do. I'm going to open up the side that says we do. And it says respect everyone. Now, the first principle of Unitarian Universalism is to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And that simply means we respect everyone. We may not like everyone, but we need to respect their rights, even if they are different from us. And that sometimes means speaking kinder than we often might want to speak. We need to respect that people are coming from many different places. Just as there are many types of flowers, there are many types of people. Sometimes people are mean. Sometimes people are mean and treat other people like they're weeds, and that they need to be gotten rid of. Now, I bet some of the flowers on the altar are considered to be weeds, but they are welcome here. We respect their individuality. If you ever go out into the woods, there are no borders. Plants grow wherever they are. They bloom where they're planted. Only farmers and gardeners decide what weed and what is a plant. We Unitarian Universalists think that people are not capable, not well enough equipped to call other people weeds. Our job is not to be the gardener of humanity. We respect each person for their uniqueness. We look for good, even in our enemies. Later in the service, you may pick a flower, and take it home. Now, we might like one type of flower better than another type of flower, but all the flowers have a right to be here. And it's in the same way we pick friends. We just like some people better than others. But that doesn't mean that the other people don't have a right to be here. We should not forbid people who we do not like from finding friends of their own. We should not try to stop two people from liking each other. We respect everybody's right to belong in this world. So I'm going to fold this one up, and we're going to go. I am you. Are you? What is you? What do we do? Unfolding the what do part, I see the words, share the world. Now, the seventh principle of Unitarian Universalism is to respect the interdependent web of which we are a part. Wow, that's a big phrase. I bet you that one was written by a committee. Respect the interdependent web of which we are a part. And the biggest word in that big phrase is the word interdependent. And when you have a big word, sometimes you need to break it down. And the first part of interdependent is the word inter. Now, we come across this partial word a lot of places. Inter just means working together. An intersection is where two streets meet. An interview is two people learning about each other's views. An internet is a bunch of computers working together. The second part is dependent. And that just means to rely on or to count on somebody. So interdependent just means that we work together by relying on each other. People rely on each other for food, shelter, and clothing and entertainment. Almost everything we have has been made by someone else. And interdependence also applies to nature. The wood for this building we got from trees. We have also planted trees on our land. We rely on nature, and nature relies on us. This is accomplished through the magic of sharing. All people share one planet. The better we learn to share the world, the better the world will be. So after today, I hope that you take your UU flower home and maybe share it with somebody. And if you think that is too ridiculous, please put it back with your orders of service so we can recycle it. Because we do share the planet, and we need to recycle our paper. And whether you want to carry a yellow UU flower around, it's easy to remember what's written. I am UU. Are you UU? And if they ask, what is UU? You say, it's holy oneness. All are saved. What do? We respect everybody, and we share the earth. Maybe you're a UU too. Maybe you have friends who are tired of the religious wars. and want a way to rise above that. A place where we really work hard at respecting our enemies and sometimes even respecting our friends. I know sometimes in the forum or in committee meetings, things get probably more heated than they should be, because we should treat the people we care most about with respect, and we should also treat those that we don't have any respect for. We got to find some way. We got to find some way. Because if not, we are not a new religion bringing new hope to the world. We only bring new hope if we open ourselves up and invite and take all those risks of looking at other people and respecting them and inviting them in. Thank you.